One dark autumn evening, two tramps came walking past the house of Pippi Longstocking. They saw that there was a light on in the window and decided to go in to ask for a sandwich. That evening, Pippi had laid out all of her gold coins on the kitchen floor and sat there, counting them. 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 60, 10, 60, 13, 60, 16. That makes my throat feel like 60. There must be some more numbers in the arithmetic. Oh, now I remember. 104, 1,000. Boy, that certainly is a lot of money. Just then, the two tramps came walking in. You can imagine their surprise when they saw a little red-haired girl sitting all alone on the kitchen floor, surrounded by money. "Are you all alone at home?" they asked craftily. "Certainly not," said Pippi. "Mr. Nilsson is here too." Now, the two tramps couldn't very well know that Mr. Nilsson was a monkey sleeping in a little green doll's bed with a quilt pulled up around his waist. They thought that the man of the house must be named Nilsson. They winked at each other. "We can come back later," is what they really meant. And without another word, they walked out again. People can be pretty surprising. For instance, I had you pegged as a theater major, but I bet you could also use your immense knowledge of quantum mechanics to help build the world's fastest supercomputer. No? Well, really, I don't know what to expect from you because all I have are my first impressions. Unfortunately, most people rely solely on these first impressions to judge another person until they get to know them better. But not Pippi Longstocking. We can all learn to let other people surprise us again from this wild, red-haired girl named Pippi Longstocking by Astrid Lindgren. No sooner had the two thieves gotten outside than they began to rub their hands together with delight. "Did you see all that gold?" said one of them. "Heavenly day." "Yes," said the other one. "Sometimes luck is with us. All we have to do is wait for the kid and that Nilsson fellow to fall asleep. Then we can go in and bag the lot." The two thieves sat down under an old oak tree in the garden to wait. There was a drizzling rain and they were pretty hungry, so they were quite uncomfortable. But the thought of all that gold kept their spirits up. From time to time, the lights in the other houses along the street would go out, but they shone on in Pippi Longstocking's house. It so happened that that night Pippi was teaching herself to dance the polka, and she didn't want to go to bed until she was sure that she could do it. At long last, however, the lights in her house went out as well. The two thieves waited quite a while until they were absolutely sure that both Pippi and Mr. Nilsson were fast asleep. Then they crept quietly towards the front door. One of them, his name as a matter of fact was Bloom, happened to reach out and feel the doorknob. It wasn't locked. "Well, some people are smart," he said to his companion, a man by the name of Thunder Carlson. Thunder Carlson laughed and lighted his pocket torch as they both crept quietly through the open door. Everything was quiet and still as Thunder Carlson played his pocket torch about the room. When the light hit Pippi Longstocking's bed, however, the two thieves were quite surprised to see nothing but a pair of feet on the pillow. Pippi, as usual, was sleeping with her head under the covers at the foot of the bed. "That must be the girl," whispered Bloom, "and no doubt she sleeps soundly. But where in the world is that Nilsson fellow?" "Mr. Nilsson, if you please," came Pippi's calm voice from under the covers. "Mr. Nilsson is sleeping in the little green doll's bed." The two thieves nearly rushed out at once. They were so startled. Then, suddenly, it dawned on them what Pippi had said, that Mr. Nilsson was sleeping in the doll's bed. And now, in the light of the pocket torch, they could see the small monkey and the tiny bed that he was sleeping in. "Hey, Bloom, can you beat that?" said Thunder Carlson. "Mr. Nilsson's a monkey." "Well, what did you think he was? A lawn mower?" said Pippi again. Bloom walked over towards Pippi and said, "Aren't your mother and father home?" "No, they're not. They're both gone. Completely gone." The two thieves looked at each other and chuckled. Then Thunder Carlson pulled the covers off of Pippi's bed. "Where's all that gold that you had sitting on the kitchen floor earlier?" "In the suitcase on top of the wardrobe," said Pippi truthfully. "I hope you don't have anything against our taking that, little friend." "Certainly not." Whereupon Bloom walked over towards the wardrobe and pulled the suitcase down. "I hope you don't have anything against my taking that back, little friend," said Pippi, and she got out of bed and walked towards Bloom. Now, Bloom had no idea how it all happened, but suddenly the suitcase was in Pippi's hands. "Here, quit your fooling," said Thunder Carlson, grabbing at Pippi's hand and attempting to snatch back the suitcase. "Oh, fooling, too much fooling," said Pippi, and she lifted Thunder Carlson up and set him down on top of the wardrobe. A moment later, she had Bloom up there too. Now the two thieves were beginning to see that Pippi was no ordinary girl, but the suitcase tempted them so much that they forgot their fright. "Come on now, both together," yelled Thunder Carlson, and they both leapt down from the wardrobe towards Pippi. Before they could get up, however, Pippi had, quick as a flash, grabbed a rope and bound the arms and legs of both her prisoners. Now they sang a different tune. Please, miss. We didn't mean any harm. We just came in to ask for a sandwich. Please don't hurt us." Pippi picked up the suitcase and put it neatly back on top of the wardrobe. Then she turned towards her two prisoners. "Can either of you dance the polka?" I guess we can." "Oh, what fun! Can't we both dance it together? I've just learned, you know." "Well, certainly," said Thunder Carlson, a bit confused. So Pippi grabbed a large pair of scissors and snipped the ropes that bound both her guests. "Oh, but we don't have any music. Can't you blow on the comb?" she asked Bloom. "And I'll dance with him." She pointed to Thunder Carlson. Well, Bloom could blow on a comb all right, and blow he did, so that you could hear it all throughout the house. Mr. Nilsson even sat straight up in bed just in time to see Pippi and Thunder Carlson whirling around the room. Pippi was dead serious about dancing, and did so as if her life depended on it. Finally, at 3 a.m, she said, "Well, I could just keep on dancing until Thursday, but I bet you two are both tired and hungry." That's exactly what they were. So Pippi ran to the pantry and grabbed bread and butter and milk, ham and roast beef and cheese, and they all sat around the table and ate until they were nearly stuffed. Finally, it was time for Thunder Carlson and Bloom to leave, and they thanked Pippi for the food and begged to be able to say goodbye. "Oh, it's been such an awful jolly having you. Do you really have to go so soon?" And just as they were walking out the door, Pippi came running after them and handed them each a gold piece. "These you have honestly earned." They thanked her, and without another word, walked out the door again.